It looks like George Clooney is courting the streamers after The Midnight Sky with Netflix, which is in post and looking for a play date possibly this year, most likely next year. George Clooney is looking to possibly partner with Amazon for a book to film adaptation of the Tender Bar. Welcome to another edition of IndieSponge, folks. I'm Eric Lavallée, and this is Kevin Jagernauth. Kevin, another Smokehouse Pictures production. This one is also including Ted Hope, who was with Amazon and now is commencing a second producing career, I guess. What do you think about this project?
It's an interesting one. It is a bit of a new direction for George Clooney as a director. His films to date have tended to be either a bit topical or touch on major moments in history, such as Monuments Men or Ides of March and Good Night and Good Luck. But he seems to be trying a few new things. He had Suburbicon a couple years ago, which were in a sort of a black comedy kind of vibe. Midnight Sky is a post-apocalyptic tale, and now he's doing something, a coming-of-age story, essentially, with the Tender Bar. So that's pretty interesting. It's a different avenue for him, and for me, the other interesting thing for this is the screenwriter. William Monahan will be writing it. And for him, it seems like a bit of a departure as well. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, looking further into this project, I see that the majority of it takes place in a neighborhood bar. So automatically, I thought about some of the more infamous scenes between Jack Nicholson and Leo DiCaprio in that bar setting. And so there's a vague familiarity there in terms of what a local drinking hole can do for select characters. I didn't do any further connecting the dots between this project and the scribe, but digging down into the author, there's a lot of colorful stories with regards to, and I'm going to screw up his name here, but his name is Mo Ringer, who essentially, this is his story. And since publishing this book, he's gone on to work on other written pieces that have also been adapted. Specifically, I'm forgetting the title now. I think it was The Resurrection of the Champ, I believe. But I feel as if there might be a cool Scorsese-esque, perhaps, approach to this material, told in two coming of age, or told in like two different two different eras, and so it does touch upon a lot of. I think Clooney is obsessed with certain qualities of the yesteryear. I mean, his recent Hulu series Catch 22 certainly adheres to that idea. But I like the idea of like sort of like smelly bar with a whole bunch of characters and how they inform this young protagonist who essentially knew his father through being a radio voice. I think there's some cool elements here that in a filmography that's almost 2 decades old, Clooney hasn't really touched upon. I think it's rather neat.
Yeah, I think we're both zeroing on the fact that this is a new avenue for Clooney. A young boy wants to find his father, who he never really knew. And you're right, the bar setting. Clooney is also known for having a lot of colorful characters in his films, and certainly this sort of setting of this young boy, sort of being taken in by the locals at this bar as he tries to find his father, is a lot of opportunity to have those kinds of offbeat, unique characters that that Clooney likes to have in his films.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking up a name. Who's the actor in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind who won?
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, I could see a Sam Rockwell be part of the fabric of these characters. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting coming of ager. And so the Amazon deal isn't set in stone yet, but it certainly signifies that that project could be put into place sometime this year. So we can look for some casting news, specifically for a preteen boy, and I think a lot of the supporting brotherhood or fatherhood or parenthood characters. I'm Eric Lavallée. I'm editor-in-chief and site owner for IONCINEMA.com, and this is
Kevin Jagernauth, contributing writer for the playlist.
And together we are IndieSponge.